I think a cruise is by far the best vacation anyone could ever take. The opportunity to sample some of the best destinations that the globe has to offer is really an incredible value proposition for someone who wants to take the vacation of their lives. People seem to forget that this resort is sitting on top of a big power plant, and it has to be driven somewhere. So unlike a resort shoreside which stays still, we have to deal with all of the logistical challenges of moving a ship around the world. And in doing that, you have a lot of risks and a lot of things can go wrong. And what we do in our work is to make sure things go right. So Carnival Corporation is comprised of just over 100 ships at the moment. We carry 11.5 million people, and in total, through our 9 cruise brands, we are the largest travel leisure corporation in the world. There are a lot of things that we're trying to get done. Some of those things are designed to make our audit process easier for our auditors. Fine. But at the end of the day, what we're really about is making sure that we keep our guests safe and we protect the environment. And I take that very seriously. We have got to get it right. And I'm not a patient person because the stakes are high. You know, for me, all of these things that we want to do to improve, you know, failure is not an option.
On January 13th, 2012, I was sitting at my desk and phone rang. It was a colleague of mine from Costa Cruises in Italy. He said, "Richard, we've had an incident with one of the ships." I said, "Another fender bender?" He said, No, Richard, it's bad." I said, "How bad?" He said, "I think we're going to lose the ship." We don't lose a ship. In modern times, the technology, the training, the construction, not possible. As the hours went on, it became clear we were going to lose the ship, and we did lose the ship. And even more tragically, 32 lives along with it. That was a day that changed the company forever, changed my life forever. I made a promise that day that I would do everything I could within my responsibilities at Carnival to make sure that never happened again. When we had this event, I was given the responsibility of responsible for auditing the health, environmental safety, and security operations of the company. And I also pledged to myself that I would do everything I could to continuously improve. So in order to do that, in my job, I have to look through a risk lens. Everyone's job can really be thought about as managing a risk. So this morning I was at Starbucks and I was getting my latte and I walked in and I thought, oh, you know, the whole customer experience, someone had to think about how can we make sure that we don't have a risk of the guest not enjoying the experience within the Starbucks. And then I got closer to the counter and I noticed that the barista had like a bandage on his finger. Now I'm thinking health and safety. First off, how did he cut himself? There must be hot and sharp things behind the counter. And I don't know what's under the bandage, but I don't want it in my latte. That's absolutely sure. And then even at the register, right? You know, how are they ringing up the sales accurately? There's profitability risk. Someone had to think about the risk that the services and the products that are being offered, you know, are they what the guest wants? So everyone's job can be thought about like a risk. Think about your own job. Convert it into a risk. Imagine if job descriptions were written in such a way where it didn't just tell you what to do, but it told you why you were doing it. It's a game changer. Now amplify that to a ship. So a ship can hold up to 6,000 souls. It's sitting on top of a power plant and a waste treatment facility. There are a lot of things that could go wrong. And as I mentioned in the video, we have to make sure that all those things go right. Health, environmental, safety, security, logistics. We have thousands of people coming on board of a ship each and every weekend, and almost at the same time, people coming off. Bags go on, provisions go on, and often through the same door, and they all have to come out the same way. So there's a lot going on with a cruise ship that is very complex. So my global team looks at the business through the eyes of risk. My auditors are all over the world. I have 100 people on the team. They're on over 100 ships, 12 different time zones, and their responsibility is to make sure that our controls to prevent health and safety, environmental and security events, that those controls are designed right and that they're operating effectively. but it's a real challenge for us. It's a major challenge. You know, it was about just a few months ago, and we're new to the Monday community and the Monday family, but very recently we said, you know what, we want to change the game. We want to transform the audit function. What we want to do is come up with a way that we can redefine the experience for our people, how we hire, how we train, how we retain. We want to find ways to provide more value to our stakeholders. We want to have an impact. We want to have move the needle in the corporation in order to make the company ultimately 5-star when it comes to all things safety and environmental. But how do you do that? How do you do that when everyone is all over the world? And they're on ships. When a ship leaves, it's very difficult to call everyone into one room. You just can't simply do that. So we thought about how we could create an environment to create ideation. Because we believe that some of the best ideas will come from our teams. They're not going to come top down. So we needed to find a way to identify all of the initiatives around people, process, technology, and most importantly, culture change. We wanted to think about the way we presented ourselves to the business. You know, being an auditor is not an easy job. It can have its moments. If you've been audited, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. But also we wanted to explore tone at the top and how the business supported what we do, because that's so important. Imagine in your own work if you didn't have the support from above. We're lucky, we have the support. But this is about continuous improvement. How do we do even better? Monday. So since 2012, of course we've been focused on continuous improvement. We have to be. But as we've seen throughout the morning, everyone has been using historically email and sticky notes and handwritten logs. Not going to work. We had a lot of challenge in trying to make change within our department and ultimately for the company using those tools. And then we found Monday. Monday has done 3 things for us. It's provided such clarity for our team. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? And what's my role? We can inventory in Monday all of the things that we want to do. We can build in all of the ideas that the team has. And we can watch those ideas come to life and get implemented. We have the accountabilities. Who's responsible for what? When will it get done? How are we doing? And I think we all know, am I stuck? And it's fun. It's a great application. It has the same vibe. If you visited the offices here in New York, I haven't had the pleasure of being in Tel Aviv yet, but it's that same energy in the platform that you find when you come here. You know, it reminded me the other day that it was someone's birthday on the team. Have you seen that? Where it reminds you there's a birthday? Yeah, so I went ahead and invited my wife to my work board so then she would remember it's my birthday. She messes that up sometimes, so I got that right. So this has really been a way to create a virtual office for us where no matter where you are in the world, no matter what ship you're on, we have excellent Wi-Fi access now on our ships. So if you have your phone, if you have your laptop, you're communicating, you're collaborating, you're coordinating. And when I think about other stakeholders, we have stakeholders that are outside the company. As you could imagine, there are a lot of regulatory agencies. We work with consultants. There are outside attorneys that have a vested interest in what's happening inside the company. And they're interested in understanding, Richard, what are you doing to help improve safety and environmental compliance? How are you helping with other risks in the business? All I have to do is give them access. I can use the other functionality we've heard earlier today. And I have created a level of transparency that has been unparalleled before this. And that transparency builds trust. You know how important trust is when you're in the business of conducting audits? It's big. So this is a really important thing for us, opening ourselves up. And we heard during the opening comments this morning how important trust is and how important transparency is. So we're really excited about everything that we're doing. We've already started to see initiatives come into play at a much faster pace than we had in the past. And we're seeing the team start to use the tools in ways that we never imagined. Just this morning, I went on to one of the boards to check the status of something, And one of my team leads had put the entire audit schedule for 100 auditors in Monday. So everybody could see where everybody is at any point in time, what they're working on. Can't do that in email. Can't do that in Excel. It just doesn't work that way. It's alive, and it's amazing. But we're never going to stop improving. Any of you fly here for this fabulous event or been on an airplane recently? Can you imagine if you learned when you got on the airplane that the management of the company said, you know what, we're safe enough. Haven't been a lot of accidents, we're good. We don't need to do anything else. No, I don't want my company thinking that way. So what we're about is putting these new ideas into play around people, process, technology, and culture, and then testing them. You know, seeing if they're working. And even if they are working, ask yourself the question, can we do better? Monday allows us that platform to have that life cycle, to never stop improving, to never stop thinking creatively. We can put ideas into action, and we can keep going from here. It should never stop. So here you see a Photoshop. I get this question a lot. No, we didn't take all the ships and put them in one place for one photo. That wasn't good on the bottom line. But you know what? What I like about this photo is that it shows a lot of ships, doesn't it? And does anyone know what word you would use for a lot of ships? An armada, a fleet. Fleet. To me, a fleet of ships, it's like a team. Otherwise, it's just a collection, isn't it? So when I look at that, I don't just see ships. I see people. When I look at this photo, I see a big ocean and a big world with an environment we need to protect. I see my responsibility in this photo to people, the environment, and my company. Monday helps me continuously improve. And as I said at the outset, I made a promise to the company, I made a promise to myself that I would never stop focusing on continuous improvement. Monday helps me keep my promises. Thank you.